Hello, welcome and thanks for joining me. I am your pattern drafting teacher. Today, you learn how to draft a simple plain collar shirt for an average child of 2 and a small child of 3. If this is what you are interested in, let's get started. The measurements required for this draft are shoulder 5 inches, chest width 22 inches, full length 15 inches, sleeve length 5 inches, round sleeve 9 inches. To begin, create a rectangular box using half chest width plus 2 inches. That is, for chest width of 22 inches, you'll be dividing that into 2, which is 11 inches, plus additional 2 inches, 13 inches. So the width of this box will be 13 inches and the length will be 15 inches. First, you need to mark 1 inch below the top margin and then roll the top line. So here, I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch below the top line and roll the line. Also measure 1 inch margin away from the right edge and then complete that line by rolling from the top line to the hem, forming a right angle triangle. After this, I'll complete the box using the same measurement above and below, and then using the same measurement on the side to round up that rectangular box. So here I'll go ahead, measure the line, transfer the same length to the opposite, and then complete the rectangular box on which this draft will be drafted. If you are interested in simple pattern making tutorials, follow us so that you do not miss out whenever we upload new videos. Now divide this box into 2 equal halves. That is 13 divided by 2, you'll be having 6.5 on each half. So here I'll go ahead and measure and mark 6.5 to the right and 6.5 to the left. And so to the left, I'll be having the center back, and to the right, I'll be having the center front. Measure the back neck width 2 inches on that top line from the center back. Take it up by half inch and mark the neck point. Again, on the top line, mark the base of the neckline half inches. Connect the curve of the neckline from the base of the neckline to the neck point above. So here I'll go ahead and connect the neck curve. Mark the shoulder length from the center back 5 inches. Add 1/4 inch to that, making it 5 1/4 inches. From that point, slope the shoulder by half inch. Then connect the shoulder seam from the neck point above to the point marked below. Now measure the depth of the armhole, that is the chest line, 6 inches from the top line down the draft. Here I'm measuring the depth of the armhole, that is the chest line, 6 inches. After measuring, roll that line across from center back to center front. On the chest line from the center back, mark 5 1/4 inches as above and roll the back line. Measure the line above, mark the same on the chest line, connect to the shoulder slope above, and that is the back line of the draft. Next, measure 1/4 of the chest width on that chest line, which is 6.5 inches, which falls on the middle line. Measure the back line and get the midpoint, and from that midpoint, connect the armhole curve to the other arm point, which also is the middle line of the draft. The middle line is the side seam of the draft. Now let's move on to the front. Mark the front neck width 2 inches, same as back neck width. The neck depth is 2 inches as well. Complete the front neck curve as shown. On the center front on that top line, measure the shoulder length, which is 5 1/4 inches, same as back shoulder length. Drop that line by half inch for the shoulder slant. Complete the shoulder seam from neck point to the shoulder slant point below. On the chest line, mark 5.5 inches for the chest point. That is the same measurement on the shoulder line. Repeat it on the chest line and roll the chest depth on which the armhole curve will be connected. Mark 1/4 of chest width on the chest line, after which go up by 3 inches on that armhole line and go in by ½ inch. Connect the armhole curve from the shoulder point through the inner point to the other arm seam. With this, the armhole curve is formed. Mark 1 inch bottle wrap extension beyond the center front on the base of the neckline and on the hemline. Complete the line as shown. If you watch this far and you are here to subscribe to this channel, feel free to do so and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we upload new videos. Lower the hem of the center front ½ inch, after which you rule a line from that point to the side seam. This follows the natural body curve of a growing child. Mark the button placement on the button wrap extension. The last point is 1½ inches above the hem and the first point is the neck point above. Get the middle line of the remaining length of that line, and that is the middle button. Further divide the middle line into two for the 2 extra buttons. With this, you have 5 buttons in total. To give the sides a curved shape, mark 1½ inches above side seam line and complete the curves as shown. This is totally optional. A shirt could also have a straight side seam. It actually depends on personal style and preference. Here we have a simple plain collar shirt pattern for a small child. With this, we can now go ahead and draft the sleeve and the collar. For the sleeve, take a sheet of paper, mark 1 inch below the top edge. After marking 1 inch, rule a straight line. On this line, go ahead and mark 10 inches. 10 inches is the width of the sleeve. After marking 10 inches sleeve width, mark 5 inches sleeve depth. Now square up the lines, that is below and beside. Cut it out and fold the piece of paper into 2 equal halves. Measure the crown depth 2 1/4 inches below the top line on both edges and roll across. Mark 1½ inches in from the folded edge at the top line. From that point, rule a slant line to connect the other arm. Divide that line into 3. Connect the crown curve to the point below as shown. This forms the back sleeve crown. Trace round the crown and the DNC line, after which you open up the pattern and highlight the traced areas. To complete the front sleeve crown, mark 1½ inches above the other arm on the newly traced back sleeve crown. On that point, go down by ½ inch and mark. Draw the front sleeve curve through this point. This makes it deeper than the back curve. Fold the sleeve in half and on the hem mark half round sleeve measurement 4.5 inches for a round sleeve of 9 inches. From that point, connect to the other arm. Trace round this line and open up the pattern. Highlight the traced line on the opposite edge of the sleeve. Go ahead and cross-check your measurement to ensure it is 9 inches. Now measure round the crown and record whatever you have. Also measure round the armhole of the shirt pattern. The sleeve crown length should correspond with that of the armhole or a little more by 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch. At this point, go ahead and cut out the shape of the sleeve on the crown. Here we have the shirt pattern and the shirt sleeve. To form a simple roll collar for the shirt, take a piece of paper, rule a horizontal and vertical line to meet at a right angle triangle as shown. Measure round the front and back necklines and record whatever you have. At this point, impute this measurement on the horizontal line. This is the neckline edge of the collar. Vertical line, which is also the center back line, mark ½ inch above the horizontal line. Connect with a cuff to the outer edge of the collar. And on the last point on the center back, measure 1 inch and ½ inch on the outer edge. Rule the outer edge line as shown. Now connect the point above to the point on the outer edge. This is the collar roll line. Measure the collar width on the center back line 1½ inches. Rule a straight line to the outer edge and extend that line beyond the outer edge by 1 inch. Mark the 1 inch and reconnect to the lower edge. Fold the pattern on the center back line and cut out the collar. After cutting it out, trace the roll line. Open up the pattern and highlight the traced line. Now we have our collar pattern and it is ready for use. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so for more pattern drafting tutorials. And here I have the complete pattern set ready for use. If you have watched this far, thanks for staying with me. See you in the sewing class. Bye for now.